With two men now in jail for the murder of a 20-year-old following a fight on Lower Greenville last month. Now come the questions about a high-profile man who was with them but not arrested. Hello, I'm Steve Eager.
And I'm Heather Hayes. Sean Rapp's Trackdown featured the case last week, and viewers began tipping off police about Dallas Cowboys player Kelvin Joseph, who is also a rapper and is seen in the video. Today, police released court documents. Sean is first tonight with an update. Sean.
Yeah, Heather's Aris Jones' bond is $250,000. Tivion English, $350,000. The break for Dallas homicide came, as you said, when viewers watching Trackdown identified another man, not the shooter, but Dallas Cowboy Kelvin Joseph. He is not charged, and attorney Toby Shook speculates he may not face criminal charges. This is the video Fox 4 Trackdown viewers identified Dallas Cowboys Kelvin Joseph in that led to the arrest of Aris Jones and Tivion English for the March 18th murder of 20-year-old Cameron Ray, who'd come to Dallas with friends from Athens to celebrate a birthday.
I don't anticipate he'll be charged with anything involving that murder. I think if they had the evidence after their interview, they would have charged him this weekend.
The Cowboys defensive back met with homicide detectives Friday, April 15th. The arrest affidavit says the same day, Jones and English from Baton Rouge, like Kelvin Joseph, turned themselves in to detectives and admitted to shooting from the black SUV that caused the death of complainant Cameron Ray. Attorney Toby Shook not involved in the case.
Probably based on the information that he gave the detectives, they could then identify who the shooter was. They view as the getaway vehicle as aiding in the murder. Anyone else in that car potentially could be charged, but they would have to have evidence that they encouraged, directed, or helped in some way. And apparently that's not the case with the other two individuals.
Again, one of the other two, Cowboys defensive back Kelvin Joseph. Toby Shook does not expect the Cowboys player to face criminal charges.
Right now, I think they view him as cooperating. The only other thing I foresee is happening is the district attorney may call him before a grand jury to lock down his testimony in front of a grand jury. They often do that when you have friends that are the witnesses to the crime. They want to make sure that their story's locked down as sworn testimony.
Shook, who has also defended pro athletes, says it may not be over for Joseph, who did not come to police about the incident for nearly a month until Trackdown viewers called Detective Tanya McDaniel.
There's still could be discipline action from the NFL just based on what happened, the surrounding circumstances. Whether he's charged or not, they could still decide to impose some type of discipline upon it.
Okay, so we can hear from the language in the law why he's not charged in the murder itself unless there's evidence that he either encouraged, aided, or abetted in some way the acts that happened. We heard from his attorney that he was caught in a violent situation that he had no part of or knew was going to happen. That statement last week. There is a law on the books in Texas, though it's only a misdemeanor, but there is a law that can be brought against you. You can face charges if you know about a felony that causes murder or serious bodily injury and you don't report it. Again, you can be charged with a misdemeanor, but Shook doesn't expect that will happen.